Too ambitious. I'm super happy that you all are here today. I just want to tell you that I appreciate everyone who joins the show every Thursday at 9 a.m. That's right, I'm plugging the show. Anyway, if this is your first time joining the show, this is a live series that celebrates Black women and women of color founders who are innovators, disruptors, and yes, these women are very, very ambitious, and we love that. So today I have such a treat for you all. You would not believe who is here today. Now, like I've said, I've been promoting this all week. If you are a fan of Insecure or How to Get Away with Murder, or even True Detective, then you've probably seen my next guest, actress and two-time Emmy nominee, Kelsey Scott. Now, you may have also seen her in the Oscar-winning film for Best Picture, 12 Years a Slave. Kelsey is also a screenwriter, a voiceover artist, a singer, and the CEO founder of 3215 Entertainment. Now, Kelsey, I would say, is the definition of a multi-talented artist. So I want to see those emojis light up. I want you to show her so much love, let her know how much we appreciate her, and welcome the beautiful and talented Kelsey Scott to Too Ambitious.
Look at that introduction. My goodness. Good morning.
Good morning.
Where you are watching.
Yes. Yes. Or good evening. We do have some international folks as well, so.
Good everyone. Good day.
There you are. So I'm super excited to have you on the show today, Kelsey.
Thank you,
Of course, I mean, you are extraordinarily talented. And I got to say, I had some difficulty. I was like, how do you ask questions to someone who is literally good at everything? Right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's true. I was like, she's literally good at everything. She's got all the things, So why don't we start off? We'll jump right in. Why don't you tell me a little bit about, how you would describe your talents? Like, how would you describe yourself? You're going to make that first introduction. Where do you start?
I would call myself a multi-hyphenate artist.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, everything that I do is about creating something. It's about telling a story. It's about creating a character. It's about developing a world, sharing a world, and I do that from different parts of the creative process, different positions in the creative process. So that's what I'd say.
Yeah, and I love that. I think that there's this myth about what it means to be an actress. Like it's all about the glitz and the glamour. It is. I mean, there's a lot of
You said it is? Okay.
It's a lot about the glitz and glam, but it's all about a lot of hard work, right? And
Yes.
You've been doing this for some time and finding lots of success. But I think what a lot of people also don't know is that you started when you were a child,
Yes.
So is this something you always knew you wanted to do?
I always knew that I liked to create and to perform. I was definitely the child that would get up in front of people, and sometimes to the irritation of my family. But I don't know that I put it in the category of a career until I was an adult, actually, even though I've been doing it. Honestly, the first time I stepped on stage, I was 3, but I couldn't say I wanted to be an actress until much later in life. I knew I wanted to be acting, but to put a title on it was something that was kind of new.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that, when you put a title on something, did that help you to kind of, shape how you kind of wanted to show up in the business? Because you also write and direct and produce and do all these things. So how did you decide which one to focus on?
Some of that was my decision, and some of that was kind of the atmosphere. So I wouldn't say that putting a label on it helped me to focus. I think it helped other people to figure out how to categorize me. Because as I said, I just wanted to build creatively, and I didn't really care what it was called, but other folks kind of needed something so that they could put me in a box. And that's actually why for a very long time, I would only do them one at a time, because people couldn't conceptualize multiple things. It had to be this or that, or this or that. So I spent a long time in my career compartmentalizing so people knew how to view me. And so I am finally at a point in my life and my career where I show you all the things. And then it's really just what I'm doing on a particular project. Because I come from theater. So the idea of hyphenates is what we do. You know, you sing, you dance, you act, you like all of that. The theater is such a collaborative medium, and that's where I grew up. So when I moved into television and I moved into film, and before the kind of advent of auteurs where you're doing everything, folks wanted me to only do one thing. And I succumbed to that pressure initially. And now I am the artist that I think I have always wanted to be.
Ooh, I love that. You are certainly the artist that I love watching. You know,
thank you.
I've seen your work on across multiple mediums: films, television, stage, both stages, because you sing as well. So you know, always impressed by the work that you're doing. You know, when I let a lot of people know that you were going to be on the show, people were so excited because you've been in some really iconic TV shows. You know, let's talk about some of those, and you know, just kind of like your thoughts about them. So let's start off with, you know, we've got How to Get Away with Murder. You know, that was amazing. Tell me a little about that experience and working with, you know, the icon that is Viola Davis. You know.
Yeah, it was an honor, first of all. When you work with an actor of that caliber, you show up differently, I think. And when an actor of that caliber is also a giving scene partner, it's even better, because she has paid her dues. She has made her mark. She could show up and do her thing and not be the one that's in a collaborative spirit with the person in the scene with her. But that's just not what she does. She does the exact opposite. I found working with her to be inspiring on both a personal and a professional level, and enjoyed that experience immensely. Also, because this was a recurring role, it wasn't a one-off guest star, I had a chance to dig more deeply into my character, which is something you get a chance to do in theater, but sometimes not as often in film and television. So it was really nice to be able to really dig into who she was and to explore her in a different way that I'm accustomed to doing in theater.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I love that you share that with us. You know, we often have this idea of what it means to, you know, share the screen with, you know, some of our Hollywood's biggest stars. But, you know, the fact that you show up and you do such great work with these icons, I think you're an icon too. You know,
Every time.
It's very true. You know, because you've been doing the work, as they say, you know. So I also loved your work also too in Insecure, you know, which we know was also another cultural phenomenon, you know. And tell me a little about how that sort of came about, you know.
Well, you know, I think I take something from each project that I do. I mean, most times that's positive. Sometimes it's a lesson, which comes from a hard lesson. But what I really enjoyed about the Insecure process, other than the friends that I made and the fun that I had on set, was honestly watching Issa go from on camera to behind the camera. Again, I'm one of the people that does both. So to see her do that in person, up front and personally, as she in one moment is in makeup and the next moment is talking to the director about a shot. It's another form of inspiration. It's another form of kind of confirmation that it's possible to do more than one thing and to be good at it and to be successful at it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think that, you know, Issa has inspired so many of us, you know, especially as business owners and entrepreneurs. So, you know, the fact that, you know, she continues to do that by building opportunities, especially for, you know, Black actors and producers and writers in Hollywood. So that's incredible. So let's talk a little bit about all your Emmy nominations. So many.
Not all your Emmy nominations.
All
okay.
Emmy nominations.
Sure. Let's talk about
it. Let's talk about that. And so tell me, when you went to the Emmys, you've gone twice. You've been nominated twice. These are her fabulous fashions, everyone. Listen, Kelsey will give you a look okay, on the red carpet.
Right.
That's what she does. So tell me a little bit about the twice that you've been to the Emmys, and what was it for?
Sure. So my first Emmy nomination was a Primetime Emmy nomination for Fear the Walking Dead Passage. And so it was an interstitial web series that came in between the seasons of Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. I believe, oh my gosh, at this point I should know how many episodes, and I do not remember. I think it was, nope, not even gonna try to guess. So many episodes. It's like, because I'll be wrong and somebody will fact check. But many episodes.
6 to 8.
And say it again.
It was like 6 to 8.
Okay, sure. Let's say that. I'm down. But one of the more enjoyable experiences that I had, because I'd been wanting to do something that was action based, and I mean, you can't get much more action based than killing zombies. So the idea that you just kind of show up, and it's not about the makeup, and it's not about the hair. We're rolling around in the dirt and bombs going off in caves, and it was crazy and so much fun. So that was my Primetime Emmy nomination, and the show itself also got nominated. And then the second was a Daytime Emmy nomination for a series called Giants, and that was a really lovely experience. It was created by a fellow FAMUan, by the family section, right? James Bland. And he just kind of put together this project in the same kind of way that that the idea of not waiting for other people to give you permission to create your art. And so he decided to put it together himself, and then pulled people in to help him realize this vision. And then we were recognized for it. So it was, it's nice to see someone deciding, doing, and achieving.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that series as well, and loved your work in it as well. So inspiring that you're able to move through so many different mediums. And, we also know that you were a part of, you had a pivotal role in the Oscar-winning film 12 Years a Slave as well. What that experience must be like. Tell us a little bit about that, to be a part of such an incredible project that ends up winning one of the biggest and brightest awards in Hollywood. Tell me a little about that.
It's definitely not something you can anticipate. I will say that. I mean, I was auditioning. It's what we do as actors. You get the script, you go in, and you hope somebody feels like you're right for the part. And things worked out this way. And I was familiar with Steve McQueen's work as a director already. And so I was excited to be even considered for it. And then this amazing group of talent that had been gathered for this production. And when you are shooting something, sometimes you understand how special it is.
Right.
But you can never really, you can't predict how an audience will receive it. No matter what it is you put into it, no matter how you feel about it, audiences are audiences. And so the idea that they embraced it, the way that they did, both the theater going audience and then our professional peers, in such a way that they voted for it for Best Picture was humbling and sobering too, because it reminds you of the responsibility that you have to always to put your all into something, regardless of how it will be received. Because we could have done all of that work, all that blood, sweat, and tears, and it not been received well. Right. But you're never going to know that. Your responsibility is to the characters on the page, to bring them to life in the best way that you know possible. And this time around, it touched audiences as well. So that was important.
That's amazing. I mean, definitely what you said too is a bit of a metaphor for life. You just show up and you never know what's going to happen, but you show up, you put your best foot forward and just see what happens, So yeah, that's incredible. Tell me a little bit about the business of being an actor. So you're the artist, you're also a business owner. Tell me, when did you decide to start your company, 3215 Entertainment?
I believe I incorporated 4 years ago at this point. That sounds about right. 4 or 5 years ago.
It sounds
yeah, sounds about right. But again, we talk about even just the concept of show business. Each and every artist is actually a company that manufactures worlds,
Yeah.
that takes ideas and brings them to fruition in some sort of way. And I was doing that again from so many different perspectives. And I had to come to recognize myself as a complete entity, as a business. I mean, some of it, honestly, some of it was, it began with just the idea of taxes. You know, you are your business. And in some ways, Uncle Sam will treat you that way. And in other ways, Uncle Sam don't understand.
Right.
And so you have to take the steps to officially be recognized as the factory of creativity that you are. And so that's kind of how it started. But then I realized I am doing all of these different things. I am coming into the process from so many different avenues that it makes sense to view myself and to operate as the business that I already am. And that's how it all began.
Yeah. Is that easy to do, to operate as the artist and as the business owner?
Some days. You know, so some days it feels very organic. Other days I have to pay more attention to one than the other, whether I want to or not. I love existing in the art of it, but the business is the business. And sometimes taking care of it in the way that it's supposed to be given that attention reminds you that it's not just about the art. It'd be beautiful if we just kind of go out in the world and I'm a Pisces, so I'm all about like thought and thinking, and, you know, that's great. But then there are the nuts and bolts of things. And so being a business reminds me that those things are important if I want to keep doing the other.
Right. So you're a solopreneur for the most part, because you don't have employees or anything like that, correct? Okay,
Yes.
great. So tell me a little bit about
I don't think I've heard that one.
Well, we say it all the time over here on the other entrepreneur and corporate side. Solopreneurs, you know, you're one-man band. You're just doing everything. You are generating income, you know, you're it. You know, basically. I think there's some people who may have like a virtual assistant or, you know, like one person who sort of helps them to sort of, you know, take care of scheduling and set things up. But inherently, it is you.
I will say this though. So, you know, officially I am a solopreneur, so I don't have employees, but I absolutely have help and assistance. I mean, my husband is phenomenal and has absolutely taken a vested interest in, he's always taken a vested interest in the artistic side of it. He loves to see his wife succeed, but he also takes now that same kind of commitment to the business side too. So while he's not an employee, he is absolutely a part of this process and a huge part of what I do.
I love that. You know, I love, you know, husbands behind the scenes supporting their queens, you know, we love that. You know, I mean, also too, I think none of us can do any of this alone, right? You know, you have to you have a village and, you know, I'm sure you have tons of family and friends that are always supporting you as well. You know, so none of us can do this
and
alone.
That's so important. I mean, I know we're in a discussion about business and likely the nuts and bolts of how that happens and how you succeed there, but taking care of the vessel, because if this is the business, then I got to take care of all of this. I have to take care of the heart. I have to take care of the head. I have to take care of the body. This is it right here. And what you talked about in terms of friends and family and them being available and supportive is part of that self-care. It's part of taking care of the business, especially if you are my new term, solopreneur. It's new to me. It's not new to me.
Well, you enjoy it, you know. So, you know, you talk about taking care of yourself. How do you take care of the business that is Kelsey Scott? You know, I know, I mean, full disclosure, I do know Kelsey personally, and I always feel like I know a star. But, you know, I know that you're very focused on wellness and everything like that. How do you sort of take care of yourself so that you remain well, so you can show up in all these many facets of your life?
You know, I'm getting better at it. So there are some of the obvious things. I love to work out. I try to eat well. I'm not big on meditation, but I love Pilates. And so that feels meditative to me.
Right.
I write professionally, but I also just write personally. I write things that are important to me. I sing professionally, but I also sing it in the shower. Really does great things for my soul. So there are the little things, there are the big things, there are like, doing my own nails, and then there's a spa day. It depends on the level, but I'm trying to get better at that being a habit as opposed to a reaction to the stress or reaction to all of the work that I'm having to do. If I make it something that is a part of my day to day, I think that I'm doing better by myself. And that's a learning process that continues, because again, coming from theater, our whole motto is the show must go on. So there are times that I have absolutely ignored what is best for my body, for my spirit, in deference to the project, in deference to the show. And I don't think that serves either one. And and my life is also different now. I'm now a wife and I'm a bonus mom, and that shifts your priorities too, because taking care of me is also a part of taking care of my family. Like, they are an extension of me. I'm an extension of them. So I can't shortchange anybody and expect that we'll all be healthy.
Yes. Well said. Well said. I'm curious as well too about what a typical day looks like for you.
I'm curious too. No, I'm
I mean, you're on set, you're writing checks, you're waiting for checks, you're going to auditions. Is that what it's like?
That's exactly what it's like. There is no typical day. I mean, today am I an actor? Today am I a writer? Today am I consulting on somebody else's script? So depending on what the day requires, it looks vastly different than the one before and the one after will.
Yeah.
But I always just try to feed into something daily, because you're not always on a job. But if I'm not on a job, how can I be preparing myself for the next one? How can I be creating something so that the next one is something that I authored or I was a part of? How can I be feeding into somebody else's dream so that they see those things realized? So if I'm not getting a check for it or writing a check for it, then I'm also just trying to make sure that I'm continually building and growing.
Right, absolutely. And also to, it's like building a pipeline, because a lot of the projects are, 6 months to a year, they're projected so far out. It's not like that immediate like gratification. So, you must always have to live somewhat in the future, even though they say that's not good for mental health, but that's the business, But you always have to be thinking of like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, you do. And that gets tough, because sometimes it feels like you're shortchanging the moment, but it's a bit of a nature of the beast. I mean, if somebody else has a better way to deal with it, I'm open. but I think you always have to be recognizing and aware that this day is going to end in a few hours. What's tomorrow going to hold? What are you going to do with it? So,
yeah. Well, why don't you tell us, what's coming up next for you? What are some of the projects you're working on right now? Where can we see you?
Well, I'm kind of in the next. So I just finished doing a show. I just finished doing a run of the musical Once on This Island, just outside of Seattle. It was a wonderful. I've actually done the show a few different times, and each time I do a different role. So this role was fun and different and challenging in ways that the other roles had their own kind of separate challenges. So I had a great time. Just got back from that about a week and a half ago, and I have just jumped into a writing assignment. So I am now writing a movie for television for a major network. So that outline process began on Monday, and that'll go along for several months. And before I finish that, I will be performing at the Sun Valley Opera House in Idaho in a solo show of vocals and spoken word. And there are projects beyond the horizon, but those are the The
Wow.
most recent, the one I'm in right now, and the one that's coming up this summer.
Oh my God. Incredible things. I just love how you can go from one thing to the next, acting, writing, singing, and everything like that. So
I think it's
incredible.
good though. I think because if you continue to pull from different places,
Mhm.
like for instance, if I'm working on the script and I hit a block, then I go work on a song. And so I'm still working on something, but it takes me out of kind of the melee for a second of that other particular art,
Got it.
and I get a rest, but I'm still working. And then when I
Right.
come back, I usually feel better and have gotten through the block because I was able to express myself differently. So
Absolutely.
the variety works for me. Also, I get bored easily, so I don't know that I could ever just do one thing just
Yeah.
forever.
Well, that I'm not surprised about because, you have done so many things. So yes, that's got to be it. But where do you think that drive comes from for you, for you, you know? Because you have
Where
not
does
stopped.
I come from? I have I have not stopped. That
You
is
have not
correct.
stopped.
I don't know. I mean, I credit my mom with a lot of my outlook on life. And I have been asked this question and I give this answer, and I feel like people think that I made it up. But the truth of the matter is, from an early age, my mom said, "You can do anything you want to do."
Mm,
I believed her. Like that, like I just believed her. She didn't say it was going to be easy. She didn't say it
right,
was going to be fast. She just said you could do it. And
right.
so when I was able to identify the things that I really wanted to do, I didn't feel like maybe I can't do it. I just felt
Right.
like I have to figure out how to do it, how to make it happen. And so when you figure out what gives you joy,
Mm.
the pursuit of that is the drive, because you know you can do it. You just have to figure out how. And so I just keep trying to figure it out. And so maybe that's the drive.
Yeah, and I love it. Yeah, I've watched you, figure it out and figure it out well. So, kudos to your mom for pouring into you, in a way that, selfishly has benefited many of us who are pleasure of, seeing your work and inspired by your work as well and your drive. Would you consider yourself ambitious, Kelsey?
Absolutely. And audacious.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. Yes, yes, as you should. All right.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else that we can support you in, or what do you need from us, the audience that is watching right now? How
Oh,
can we
interesting.
support you in your journey? You know?
You know what? I would say that I would appreciate you being curious about the things that I have to offer artistically. So if that means following me so you know what's next, or if that means when you see that I'm in something, tuning in or turning on or buying a ticket to because I might have something that might bring you joy, then I appreciate that curiosity.
I love it. Well, as you all know, you can follow Miss Kelsey Scott on Instagram if you're not already. She keeps that up to date with her next projects and everything like that. And also, too, you can find what about everything that she's done in the past and present, kelseyscott.com. Real simple. I love that. KelseyScott.com. You know,
Try to keep it.
you sure you didn't want to put like the famous kelseyscott.com in front of
I'm,
it?
I'm I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
appreciate that. Yep. Yep.
All
Thanks for
right.
playing.
Well, well, I appreciate you taking the time, multi-hyphenate Kelsey Scott, for, being here on Too Ambitious today. Thank you so much. This was so great to kind of learn a little bit more about your journey and your story, but continued
Thank you
success.
for your curiosity. Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit of my world.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for making time, because we know time is a gift, and we
Mm,
know that some of us have more than others, but we all got the same 24. So
that's right.
thank
That's
you.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. And for everyone out there watching, thank you for joining Too Ambitious today. I will see you next week when we have another phenomenal woman on our show. And again, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please DM me. And if you want to be a sponsor of the show, DM me as well. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching Too Ambitious. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
Okay.